Hello. It's Alan Rickman.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get together and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I'm going to be your host, Ryan, and with me is Bill.
Hi, guys.
And TJ.
Oh, it's TJ.
How are you guys doing?
I thought for sure you were going to interrupt me. You always interrupt me.
Why?
I don't know. You're always, oh, TJ. Oh, my TJ, guys.
Ironically, I think you interrupted me when I said, how are you guys doing? To talk about how Bill always interrupts you.
Oh, I did interrupt
Captain
you. It was my
interrupted.
turn. It was my turn.
Captain interrupted, making his
TJ has
return.
a big day tomorrow. Do you want to tell the audience about it, or shall
It's
I?
not my big day.
It's your big
I'm
day.
involved in someone's big day. I'm the officiant of a wedding of some friends of ours.
Yeah.
Officiant means I'm basically the minister.
Yeah. Are
You're
you
wedding them.
No, you had the
wedding
you had the
I will
rehearsal
wed them.
yesterday. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, they told me kind of last second that I'm doing the blessing, so I still got to put that together.
At dinner, at the reception.
At the rehearsal.
Now, how many people?
Or I'm doing the blessing at the rehearsal,
Right.
at the reception.
How many people is this wedding?
They had, I think they said they invited like 270 people, but
Jesus.
he said it was going to be like 100 and like just under 200 people.
Yeah.
You usually get, what is it, like a 50% turnout from what you invite or something like
I
that?
think it should be a little more than that.
No, depending on how many people you invite. Who
Well, yeah, I
knows
guess.
270 people?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't now.
Mine was almost 2, I want to say.
Yeah, you had a lot of people there. We invited a bunch too. I think
Yours-
ours was
yeah, yours
almost
had a
2.
good amount, yeah.
We had a good amount there.
I feel like I'm confident, but like, I don't know. When I did Bill's wedding, best man speech, I like knew that shit. I could recite it. I feel like I could recite it to you now. But theirs, I feel like I'm definitely gonna have something in front of me. We have like a book or something, in front of me, and I can look down.
Are
and
you
read
standing at an altar? Or are you open? Like, are you just in the open? Like, do you have a pulpit type thing?
No, nothing's in front of me, and I'm holding my microphone.
See, that's a problem because maybe he was staring at your crotch. The guy that you said was staring at your crotch the whole night. Aren't you
Yeah.
nervous that everyone's going to be staring at your crotch now?
Well, I can only hope. But there's nothing in front of me. There's no pulpit or anything. They're standing right in front of me, and we're on stage, and I'm under like an archway.
Yeah.
Now,
me.
a pulpit, is this like a ceremonious like fire pit where
A
it's like
pulpit
a pole
is like
coming out of it?
big
Or...
stand, and
No.
people put their
He was trying to make a
like
joke.
a
I
cross
was
on it.
trying?
Yeah, it was an
Made-
attempt.
Successfully made a joke.
It was an attempt. So
We have really exciting news. Are you getting it? Are you
we
getting
do.
to it?
We're not getting into it yet.
Oh,
It'll be in the news section. But
Do I know about this?
Oh, yeah. We are the Invincible Podcast. You can email us to be part of the show at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us and message us over on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Haven't updated the website since last month because I'm kind of trying to repair it. I want to do some changes to it and update it with some things. Otherwise, we are also the Oblivion Song Podcast. And that is going to be, the next episode will be next week. Is that it next week now?
Yep.
Is it really that
Second,
soon? I
yeah.
feel like we just did the last episode.
So it finally got to the point where it's 1 week after Invincible, because it used to be 2, I think. Are you sure it's next week?
It's definitely next week.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
All right, cool. So we'll be there'll be a new episode of the Oblivion Song Podcast next week. All right, I want to jump to some news. The first thing I want to talk about is, we could talk about that. Go ahead, Bill.
All 3 of us are going to New York City Comic Con.
Hopefully.
I feel like this isn't news. We've been talking about this for months.
It hasn't
no.
become official.
It
It
wasn't
still
official.
has not become official.
Because we don't have
Why
tickets.
is this news now?
I have plane tickets. That might as well be.
Having the plane ticket is a big deal. That's
we
guess.
we are officially
Like,
going to New York City.
a month ago, I would not have put money on the fact that Bill was going. Now he
I also
now he-
wouldn't have, but I
Exactly.
was strong-armed into it. I honestly was.
It's true. But now it is official as long as we can actually get tickets.
Why would we be able to get
If you guys try to get your tickets during the on sale,
window,
then you should have no problem.
which is
getting
the
them.
12th.
You're gonna be waiting a while.
Waiting a while?
I waited like literally. We drove all the way to Rochester from here. I started at my house, sat at
refreshing
my
is-
house for like 20 minutes. So they say tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. At 9:59 I was refreshing, and then you are now entered in the queue, and it was 10 a.m. And then
You didn't get out of the queue.
I stayed at home for about 15 minutes, drove here, then we drove here from here to Rochester to see Hamilton.
About an hour and a half, 40
And I didn't get in line until maybe 10 minutes before
Wait,
we
that was
arrived at Rochester.
you buying your tickets now?
That was me buying my tickets at the pre-sale. Which
Pre-sale.
For this
so
year,
it's going to be even fucking crazier.
Probably. We'll see.
No, it took me less time when I bought it last year.
Yeah.
I didn't have access to the pre-sale.
Aren't we living in like the modern age where this shouldn't take fucking
Yeah, dude.
like, all I want to do is just purchase ticket.
Dude,
it's not like I'm buying a fucking seat.
You know how many people are buying
But I'm
tickets,
buying
though?
a
Like,
generic fucking ticket. I'm
not
not
a
buying
seat.
assigned seat.
Yeah. Well, TJ, you're going all 4 days.
I'm buying all 4 days. Yeah.
You already did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My goal is to at least go 2, which will most likely be Thursday, Saturday, is what I think I decided on. Because the last 2 years, Kirkman has gone Thursday, and he's done a panel on Thursday for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Thursday's like my priority day.
The way I see
And
it,
apparently, from what I've heard, that is the easiest day to get. So I don't feel too worried.
Do you have to buy
Saturday
them?
Saturday is the crazy day.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I know.
Do you have to buy them individually, like
Yes.
Thursday, and then wait in line again? Friday, wait in
do.
line again. Really?
Which is why I wonder if I should
Because
do
I've
Saturday.
been there before, I got to get the 4-day pass, but you don't have access
See,
to that. You're not a
I know,
but
I
like
know.
that-
So TJ, should we get the Saturday one first because that'll go quicker? Or
No, you're gonna buy them all together.
Oh,
it's
okay,
gonna,
that's what
it's
I was
gonna,
asking.
It's gonna enter you into the store, and then
Okay,
there's gonna
you
be a
select
drop
which
down
ones.
for you want one Friday and one Saturday complete
Cool.
purchase.
Well, we're going. We'll be there regardless. So it's gonna be fun. As it gets closer, obviously, we'll talk more about it. Maybe make plans to meet up with some friends, and it'll be cool.
Jen Drudgeniak. We could
Yeah,
probably meet
she'll
up
be
with her.
there.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the
super
last
excited.
or the first time like Mike Barrett isn't going. I guess.
Yeah.
Figures. But it'll still be fun. We'll have a good time. Hopefully, there'll be some cool Kirkman and Invincible related announcements. One of which I think might have to do with something Skybound recently announced called Skybound Declassified. Bill, have you seen this?
No.
I'm sure TJ has.
No, I have not.
So Skybound Declassified, Skybound is launching an apparel initiative where every quarter they're basically picking one
Title.
one title, one property that they have, and they're making a clothing line just for that title. And this one is all die
That's what they're
related.
starting with. That's what they're launching.
Hit the arrow. Is it multiple different
So
things, or
it's-
is it just, it's
yeah,
one
there
of them?
was-
Oh, cool.
That.
Oh, wow.
So, and what they're doing
that's
is
a lot of fucking SKUs, man.
yeah,
Holy
dude, look at
shit.
all that. And so the thing is, they're doing something where the one that is like the one that gets the most, the single highest selling item will be promoted to the active merchandise. So it'll be constantly in the
So
store.
they're going to do a one-time sale of these things.
Yep, which is going on right
And then
now.
whatever sells the most is going to be forever
Yes.
available.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that means it will be. I figured out if it is quarterly, that means they will be doing this again, assuming they stick with the quarterly, May, August, November, and February.
I feel like it's always going to be hoodies. Hoodies always sell out.
You think that
like
the
crazy.
highest selling? Yeah. Hey, whatever sells the most.
Oh, that girl's long sleeve crop hoodie looks like it's going to be a big
This
seller.
one, I like. Yeah, I like the pink. Oh, that. I like the girls one's actually in this. The yellow dye. The black bullet on the white shirt looks cool.
Honestly,
I don't see them doing Invincible like for a very long time.
I do. This is what I think. I think the next one would be August. I don't think that'll be Invincible.
it'll be after.
I think that'll be
the show
Walking
announcement.
Dead or something like
Or
that.
during-
Or
during
it'd be
the
cool
show
if it was Oblivion Song in August. That'd be neat. But then November. Now November would be right after New York Comic Con and before and in that frame in which Kirkman said they would be doing a build up towards merchandise.
It wouldn't be Invincible.
We know that they made or are making or whatever the Invincible hoodie. So like it's part of that lineup.
So quarterly starting.
It's gonna
with what
be
month?
right before Christmas. It's gonna be May, August, November, February.
February is Invincible.
You think
I think
February
it's
will be
gonna
Invincible?
I think it's gonna be well after the announcement. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
All
see.
right. Yeah.
We shall.
What kind of logos or designs would you want to see? Invincible
For
related?
Invincible.
Obviously, the
The hoodie that you have,
yeah, pretty much
or a black and blue.
Omni-Man.
A black and blue one would be cool.
Oh, black and blue would be sick.
They'd probably end up doing blood splatter stuff, wouldn't they, for Invincible?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean the Viltrumite symbol.
I want a Viltrum logo.
Yeah, but we have the Viltrum logo.
You do. You have but it's a big
Viltrum.
red one.
I fucking love that shirt.
It is cool, but I want one that looks like
That looks
like the shirt that they're
I
wearing.
think a Kid Omni-Man
small
one
one.
where it like goes into the circle, like you know what I mean, like more. Kid
Oh yeah,
Omni-Man.
kind of like Kid Omni-Man's design that we're gonna be talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. I could see that as a T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
There'll
I mean,
definitely
they
be
don't
some
have
other.
to solely stick to. I mean, do you think they would do
Oh, it could
like?
just be the name. It could be the name in different patterns and
right.
reprinted and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it'll mostly just be T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, whatever. So yeah, we'll see.
Ooh, I would get a beanie.
I would definitely get a beanie. My guess is they're probably gonna stick with.
beanies.
Fuck you,
Shirts
TJ.
and-
Sorry, you don't like to keep your head. You're the coldest person I know. You're wearing a hoodie in fucking June, and it's finally 80 degrees outside. You're
And I
literally
keep
wearing
my
a
head
hoodie. And you don't wear a fucking hat during
No.
winter.
Because,
Why?
Because it's on my back at all times.
You're
I
such
wear a
My
hoodie.
hood is on my back.
What else we got for news?
This one comes by a follower over on Twitter, Laura Campverde. Sorry if I messed up your last name, but Laura says she brought this to my attention. It's an Empire online article about Mahershala Ali. You know this actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He won an Oscar for the last 2 years.
A bunch of stuff.
Wasn't he just in No, he wasn't in True.
He was in Green Book. He
True
was
Crime or
in
whatever.
Detective,
I think he
True
won-
Detective.
True Detective. Okay,
Yeah, he did
He won
the
an Oscar.
latest season of True Detective, which apparently he was insane in. Like, he's really good. So, no, he won an Oscar the last 2 years in a row. This article about this true life prison drama that he's in, it goes on talking about him. And then at the end, it says, the actor is aboard to appear in sci-fi thriller Sovereign and will lend his voice to animated series Invincible.
Wow, these little
This was not
fucking tidbits of.
This was not previously
news.
announced in any of the voice actor announcements.
Wow.
This is a huge actor.
So,
2-time Oscar award winner.
I mean,
So-
we shouldn't be surprised. So
And
is
how many Oscars?
Oh, I know.
How many Oscars are in the cast of Invincible?
Oh, I know. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
The only Oscar I know is Oscar Isaac, and I don't think he's in it.
Oh,
Another joke. Was it a funny one? Did it hit-
that one was
did it hit
better.
home?
But
Ryan's getting naked.
I am, because I am
We are
wearing a sweater
drinking.
and it is warm.
We are drinking. When you finish yours, go get
So-
another one.
There are no more. You
Drink.
drank all my
Drink.
my manly anger.
Drink.
Drink.
It's the right choice. The only choice. Drink. Sempre viva. Live forever. What movie? Oh, if you don't get this.
Oh, man.
You don't know?
Live forever.
Oh my gosh.
Can you give me another quote from a different part?
Yeah, I fucking can. You know what?
Go ahead, go.
Because you're not even a fan.
Do it.
I have a guess.
You're a fraud, Bill. A walking lie, and I can see right through you.
Oh, fucking.
I don't know it.
Death becomes her.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah, yeah, good.
Wow.
She's gonna be furious.
The morgue.
She'll be furious.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
It's so good. It is so
I don't.
funny.
I do not think that you would like it right now.
No,
Yeah.
I think you would.
I
I,
don't-
really,
don't
you
know.
enjoy that
it's
kind
80s
of like.
movie, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's
I love
very-
like
Yeah.
Clue and all
That's
that
what I
kind
was
of
gonna
stuff.
say. Compare it to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
That's
Clue.
what I feel like it is.
That's
You
why.
know what? You know what's kind of weird about that movie is that it's a comedy, but it's also some weird dark horror movie
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Very cultured.
I remember my mom had it, and I had never saw it, but I remember the cover of the DVD or VHS at the time or whatever, with his hand like through her body.
Yeah, and she's
And,
and
like,
the other one's
it was a
next-
The neck
candlestick.
was twisted. Yeah, he was holding a candlestick.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's really
weird.
good.
Weird.
It's really, we should do a.
So
We
who
should.
So
That's a fucking.
That'd
yeah.
be a good one.
we can watch it. So in that tweet, Laura said that they could see him playing Lucan, the Viltrumite. Who do you guys think?
Angstrom.
Angstrom is the go-to.
Is,
Angstrom was kind of my
is,
go-to.
Yeah. I don't really know. I'm not trying to play the race card, but I'm just trying to think of all the. Fucking that guy.
Darkwing.
Darkwing.
Okay. So IMDb
No way.
has him listed,
Oh my god.
and
Did
his character's listed.
Get the fuck out of here.
This was not probably supposed to happen. So again, I don't know if this is real. It's got to be real.
It's well, I mean, just because IMDb.
But so
is
did that
socially
Variety
updated.
article.
Yeah.
And it's none of the characters we said.
Really?
And I think
Is
it's
it a Mauler
perfect.
twin?
No, I think it's perfect, based on the type of characters he plays.
Titan.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So it also only says 1 episode. So it's possible that Titan only appears in the first episode.
First episode 1.1.
1.1, yep. Whereas, other characters, for some reason I have no internet right now. For some reason, the other characters are not listed. They're listed for all the episodes. But him says Titan 1 episode, or episode 1. Which is fine.
Episode 1 of season 1 too.
I
I'm
know.
sure they do that
I
for
know.
everything, not.
But
just...
that's one of those things that this might be the first bit of information that, okay, Titan will be in the first episode, which is cool because he's in the first issue. He's the first guy that Mark
He's on
fights.
the cover.
He's
kind
on.
of.
Yeah. No, well, regardless.
That's clearly his shadow.
But
That's
Mark's
his
not
shadow.
wearing that costume when he fights him. Either way, it's
Well, that scene's not in the first issue, but it's on the cover.
yeah.
He's still on the cover.
Did you guys see? I was just going through an article because something just got recently canceled. Oh, Swamp Thing got canceled after the first
season. Yeah.
after the first
I haven't
episode.
seen anything from that, but the costume and everything looks awesome.
Yeah,
It
but
looks
it's the
perfect.
DC streaming service. Who's going to pay for that? Does
I know,
anybody?
TJ, didn't you start watching Titans
Yeah.
and stuff?
Did you really?
I started watching Titans, yeah.
You pay for the service?
Mm-hmm.
What else is on there?
Every DC animated movie, like ever.
But not movie.
I mean, the newer movies aren't on there, but all the older
That's
ones
kinda
are.
weird. Batman.
All
Michael Keaton.
all the Michael Keaton Batman, like all the old Batman
Yeah.
movies. Animated series, Batman Beyond. There was a lot of really
So
good
did you
stuff on
stop
there.
watching the live action stuff?
The Batman.
Good
You
fucking
when
show.
when you came over last time to
Dracula.
record,
Dracula versus
I was
Batman.
watching the Batman vs Dracula.
My point was that I was looking at shows that got canceled in 2019 so far,
Mm-hmm.
and Preacher
Yeah, I know.
got
I
canceled
saw
after
that.
4 seasons, but
Which,
it's gonna finish
again,
it.
Seth Rogen said
That's-
he's ending it.
But
Like,
a,
it's
but,
not.
but a
it was-
4-season run for a really niche show like
Yeah.
that is really kind of good.
Yeah.
And then Future Man also is getting canceled.
Another
after
Seth
season
Rogen
3.
thing.
Another Seth Rogen. And as I was swiping through, I'm like, oh, Seth Rogen. And then, oh no, Seth Rogen. And I'm like,
oh no!
oh no, Invincible canceled before it even began, and he's not even affiliated with it. But I just
Well,
thought
he
that
is.
was-
He's the voice actor in it.
But I mean, he's not like a
yeah, I know.
producer, actor,
affiliated,
or
yeah.
director. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Titan cast, and it's a 2-time Oscar-winning actor, which is pretty cool. Next up, I guess is going to be somewhat of our main topic, which I haven't talked to you guys about. It's really weird, and we don't have to talk about it for too long, but I've always kind of considered this podcast as kind of the like DVD extras to Invincible, the unofficial, extras, where we talk about everything from Invincible's history. Old spin-offs, new things, toys, clothing, all the comics, rereading it, everything. This is something we haven't really talked about, like at all. Maybe brought it up once or twice, but I feel like we should give it its time in the light and give our thoughts on it. So I want to know what you think.
What are you gonna say right now? Is this the animated comic?
Yeah.
You really ruined
I've seen
my
that before.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It's like really,
It's a little
really,
rough.
really not good. And this is actually extremely long. How much are we gonna watch this?
It's 15 minutes. We don't have to watch much of it, but I just thought it was interesting. How much of this have you seen, Bill?
None of this.
None of it?
No.
If I keep this up, I'm gonna give myself a heart attack.
So, I did a whole bunch of research, read interviews with Kirkman about it and everything, and
Jesus, Mom, I'm reading a comic book.
recording?
I'll be out
Yeah.
in minutes.
Oh.
Well, you need to stop reading that comic
Okay,
book
go on.
start getting
and
You're gonna be late
he
for
even
school.
says that like it took him a couple episodes to like really get used to it,
Late.
because it's a little jarring. It is weird.
What did I tell you?
Ready with 10 minutes
I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing all the way through.
Which says a lot because
Yeah.
if you,
I feel like I have, but
The
it was
big-
on in the background while I was like cleaning.
Yeah, I will say though, I did listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
While I was at work, I just put it on my phone and let it play. And it's way more exciting to listen to than it is to watch. And I think it's because, and the same reason why I think motion comics never really took off, it is jarring, and it's, I don't know, it's weird,
If it brings back something nice for me, I've
It-
never been to Taiwan.
as I'm watching
Is
it for
this,
the.
is this on real time, or are you fast forwarding it?
This is,
It sounds like it's like You know, you put it on like 1 speed and it's like kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah, yeah.
downloading through
1.5.
itself. It sounds like it is.
No can do, pal.
Are any of the actors like notable?
So-
Did you?
Ironically, and I actually followed him yesterday on Twitter, and he followed back, and I actually talked to him for a second about it. But
You did really?
yeah, Mark is the only one that I recognized, and he's just he's an actor that I don't know if you'd know him from anything. He did a few episodes in Agents of Shield.
As an actual actor?
Oh yeah,
Oh, no shit.
yeah.
Oh, wait, you
but
talked to
nobody-
him about it?
Yeah, just for like a second. He
Yeah.
said he just brought up like how crazy it is that when he did Invincible, who'd have thought how big Kirkman would have become, and
Right.
Be home anytime.
but the and I'm not just saying this, but I actually like Mark's voice in this.
I don't know if you ever actually mentioned to the people that are listening what we're actually watching.
So yeah,
Yeah, duh.
well, Bill said, "Is this the motion comic?"
Right,
We've said
right,
motion
okay,
comic.
okay.
So
He wanted to check
let me back up a little bit. In issue 51, which is the issue that we're going to be talking about today, I did not plan that.
It's one of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll turn it down a little bit more. It won't pick up so much, anyways, because the mics aren't on that
Can
side.
we close
anyways.
these curtains because the sun is like in my eyes.
Why don't you
I
just
think
put your
so.
hoodie up and put your hood over your eyes? Because you never wear sunglasses because it's always on your back.
You're right. I should get a beanie to cover my eyes. That makes
You
more
could
sense.
wear a beanie to cover your eyes.
I could wear a hood to cover my eyes too, Bill. Jeez, you're so stupid.
If I can fly.
Oh, you had it. All right.
There you
we go.
All right. So, in issue 51, an issue that we will be talking about in our rereader today, Kirkman says, after thanking like Jim Lee for doing the cover and everything like that, he says, next off, I've got something very exciting to announce. The fine folks at MTV and Bomb XX have acquired the rights to this fine comic you're holding in your hands, and they're adapting it into a new medium called Go Comics. They're slightly animating the panels direct from the art, and they've got actors voicing the dialogue so you don't have to read it. I've seen the first 12 episodes of this thing, and it's spectacular. There should be a big announcement at this year's San Diego Comic-Con, but I wanted to let you guys in on the news first. You can find more by going to the URL on this issue's back cover. Check it out. So on the back of issue 51 is an ad for this motion comic, which is cool because this is a comic that this was like the third or fourth comic or whatever that we bought live. So we were reading Invincible when this came out, and it aired on MTV2 and was made available to download on iTunes and stuff like that. They did he said the first 12 episodes, which another article I read said that it was the first 4 issues condensed into 12 episodes
Okay.
because they're pretty short. They were going in on a block on MTV2 that were like 5 minute, you know what I mean? Like in a block of animated stuff. And you can't find this. This was taken off of iTunes now. The only way to get it on iTunes is it's called MTV Gets Animated or something, and they only have the first episode. You can't get them anymore. Wow. So I couldn't even find them. I tried
Even
looking
on,
for them
YouTube
online.
and shit?
Dude, I tried looking
Wow.
everywhere. And so if anybody's listening has these downloaded, I'd want to find the other ones. And I'm curious to how many was actually recorded. You know, because it obviously didn't take off. You know, I remember back then a bunch of motion comic stuff going on. Like there was a Watchmen one, and I remember the Watchmen one was weird because it actually like distorted the art to make it look like that it was
were, like,
moving.
dancing?
Yeah, like moving and stuff. Whereas this one's more like just this static panels
Right.
moving.
I could see how this would be appealing.
Again and again in these interviews, they talk about this is pretty much to get people interested.
This is to get what people.
Yeah.
That's
People who don't read comics
yeah.
but are watching
I feel like
MTV2
if I didn't
cartoons.
read comics, this would turn me off of it. I feel.
You think so?
I don't know. I don't think.
I think a
It's
hard
just-
I think a
it's-
hard
like
part
you
is
said,
because
it's
we
jarring.
know.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a hard part is because we know the art.
It's just the problem with the first early issues of Invincible. I don't think you could do anything to the first issues of Invincible to make it like appealing to the masses. You have to just get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because watching this, I mean, what's cool about it? You know what I mean? It's just a kid.
do you remember the MTV Spider-Man show?
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris
So
played
Neil
the voice
Patrick
of
Harris.
Spider-Man, and it was
so
cell
good.
shading too. It was like CG
it
and
looked
cell shaded.
awesome.
It was one season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
good.
cool. It was really.
That was
fucking
probably
cool.
around the
And it
same
ended on
era,
a
I feel like.
cliffhanger too, and never had season 2.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and I remember thinking that it looked cool, but I feel like it was boring.
I loved it.
Really?
Loved it.
I don't mind Nolan's voice. Robot's voice is my least favorite. this covers this first episode that we're watching here. This is like the first 3 issues. Like this covers a lot.
Yeah.
Muller's. Yeah, robot here.
The team.
Like he doesn't sound robotic.
What was that noise that the Mullers were just...
I think it was the Muller just running.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never mind. Nice job.
That's not how Rex would, or robot would talk.
Another vehicle sent to us by remote.
It has a little bit of a robotic.
Yeah, but he was just like, wow.
Eve is one of my least favorites. Hers isn't that good.
Do I know?
You know, you do look familiar.
Well,
Yeah.
our rides.
Did I get that line right? Yeah, that was great. Just move on.
If needed.
Hero star. People.
This goes until the boy gets blown up in the mall, and that's it.
Was that that was so 15 minutes. So that was
It's
like
15
one
minutes.
episode?
But again, the weird thing about that, so if you go to it, because it still has an IMDb page, if you go to it and look at seasons 1, this was 2008.
Wow. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
11 years ago? Wait, right? Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, the IMDb page shows the episode list, and the first that was the first 5 episodes, everything we just watched. Like I said, I feel like they crammed them all into that one for iTunes. But otherwise, when they were released on MTV, I think they were released in really short bursts, like late night animated things. Kind of like what was it? Not Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. Remember how Adult Swim? Did you ever watch that? That would have the chunks of really short, 15-minute, 10-minute episodes of things. But that's what I think it was. So I thought we needed to just touch on that part of Invincible's history. Oh, and it was announced via the New York Times. There's a New York Times article written in July 2008 called "A Comic Book Superhero is Headed to Small Screens," and it's all about that.
So what else did they do? Did they do just that comic?
They also did a motion comic. That company did a motion comic for Turistas, 28 Weeks Later, and Saw 2.
Saw 2?
Yeah, and 28 Weeks Later, tie-ins to the movies and stuff like that.
I remember there was a comic book series, a prequel to 28 Weeks Later.
Yeah.
It was in between 28 days and 28 weeks.
My guess is they probably animated that. So, yeah. So that's the thing. Ready to get on to the reread? Suppose.
Yep, let's do it. So what do we... So this is volume...
Geez, 10. We're already up to volume 10.
10 of how many?
25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going for this for the next...
Oh, yeah. Think about that. If we're still doing this, when the animated series is over, we'll still be doing this.
It's weird to think that we've been doing this for 10 months.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That we've been monthly for 10 months.
Oh, that is strange.
Yeah.
It seems like we just started. We just
started doing
Invincible.
monthly.
When did Invincible end? Last year.
February of... Was it last year?
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was February of 2018.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Bill,
Wow.
did you read it?
This volume?
Yeah, in preparation for...
Yeah,
today?
No, not in preparation.
Yeah.
Does that come as a surprise?
No, I was just curious.
Okay.
Because you never read it.
Did you read it?
I did. I always read it.
No, I actually read it too. I'm kidding. I did read it.
So you guys said that this was the 10th episode with monthly, so that would mean that the 1-year anniversary of going monthly is also going to be our 75th.
September.
It's also going to be our 75th episode.
Well,
Interesting.
happy anniversary, guys.
Well, soon. We'll figure that out. So yeah, this is issues 48 to 53.
You know that 12 is not the anniversary, right? It's 13 is the anniversary.
Oh yeah, I guess.
No,
that would
wouldn't
make sense.
12 be?
No, because if your birthday is January 15th, 12 months later would be December 15th.
Yeah, actually though, our first because our first ever monthly I think was Jen Druckniak's. Because that
12
was
months later. But I'm sorry. 12 months later would be
Yeah.
a year, but you count that
Yes.
as an episode. That's what throws you off.
yes.
You count January 15th as an episode.
Yes.
As an episode.
September will
As
be
an
one.
episode.
September
That's
will
how
be
you
1 year of
As
Villain
an
Monthly.
episode.
As one episode.
As an episode.
As an episode that we count.
So volume 10, 48 to 53. This is
It's a good one.
a really good one.
It's a good one.
I love this. This
Not
one was
a
so.
whole lot happens.
I feel like Rexplode is a favorite character of mine, and Kid Omni-Man is a favorite character of mine.
Right,
And Kid Omni-Man is like nuts in this one.
Prominence.
And
we
he
covered
is.
it in
this is the issue 50 build up, and a lot of and the beginning of the Oliver drama. Is also the introduction of FCO, who is my favorite
fantastic colorist
in the series, and he has a great run.
Yeah, he really brought some a different
This
life
is
to the character.
This is the build up to 60 and Conquest, and this is the beginning of this. We'll talk about it at the end of this. So issue 48. Let's see, Mark and William and Rick Sheridan walking home from bowling. Rick Sheridan still having the trouble after everything that was done to him.
This issue's awesome for one reason and one reason only.
What's
One
that?
reason only?
Yeah, TJ, any ideas?
I know what it is.
Oh, I gotta flip through it again.
Fucking Wolfman, drawn by Ryan Ottley,
for
dude.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so Doc Seismic is setting off an attack, calling all his minions to attack all the various heroes in the Invincible universe, loose term. So Savage Dragon's being attacked. The Dynamo 5 is being attacked. Capes, Wolfman, Brit, and of course the Guardians of the Globe. Now this is,
Oh, that's Brittany, dude.
who you know now.
No shit, I do know.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
we've done all that. So this must have been during or shortly after the Brit series. I want to say it was during. Yeah, because Donald and Brittany appear monthly in Brit.
Yep.
This was during that.
There you go.
You also know all the Capes members.
Literally, at the corner of all of these is Dragon and crew appear monthly in Savage Dragon. Slingshot,
like how-
Visionary, Myraid, all the characters
Myriad.
whatever, appear in Dynamo 5. Bolt, Kid Thor,
I like how it says appear
Capes
once-ly.
Volume 1.
Appear once-ly in Capes.
Wolfman and Zachariah appear bi-monthly.
Remember
the
that
Astounding
being
Wolfman.
bi-monthly? Remember having to wait 2 months between
For
Wolfman episodes?
I remember
The
thinking
issues?
that was very strange.
This
Worth it, though.
this whole volume
Look at freaking-
made me wish that we hadn't done the Astounding Wolfman reread again or yet, because I want to do it again.
Oh, I know.
want to do it.
I really want to reread Wolfman. It's been a long time.
Wolfman is definitely my favorite side character.
Yeah.
Of Invincible.
I
In the Invincible universe, I should say,
yes, I would say that
outside of the Invincible.
that between him and Tech Jacket, Tech Jacket's third. Tech Jacket's third.
I always thought you liked Tech Jacket.
Tech Jacket's not in this.
Dude, I love Wolfman. Yeah, where the fuck? I mean, Tech Jacket's not really.
Yeah, he's in space.
He's not. He's
not going to be attacked by magmites.
Wait, he's doing something right now.
Is this when his...
He's doing something until issue 60 something where he arrives somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Was
Isn't he
with him?
trapped somewhere or something?
I think he was in space, because then he
He's
comes
definitely doing
back.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
When he arrived back on Earth, they were in the middle of the Viltrumite War. Something was going on.
No, I remember that, because he fought those...
Or not the Viltrumite War. Yeah,
Invincible,
Viltrumite War.
no, Invincible War.
Is
When
it
he fights
Invincible War?
he fights one of the clones or one of the alternate dimension ones and
Yeah,
kills two of
maybe,
them.
yeah.
I want to point out how awesome Zachariah's outfit is. That red V kind of thing on his on his shirt, just a subtle.
Little cardigan.
God, it's so cool. I love Wolfman.
Next time I see Jason Howard, I'm going to get a Wolfman. Normally I don't like
Dude.
to...
He's probably gonna be there, isn't he? I've never met him before.
He wasn't last year.
Really?
I saw him at Chicago. And he did the Robin for me.
What is Jason Howard doing now? Because Cemetery
Beach.
Beach ended. It was.
Did it?
A real, yeah, wasn't it just a short fucking
I think he's on
7 or 8
something.
issues?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, TJ looks it up. All the Magmites and the underlings, I don't know what he calls them, began attacking everybody. Cecil confronts Debbie about Oliver having powers. Starts giving her a little bit of a hard time, and she's kind of talking back, and then he gets the alert that everybody's being attacked.
So last we knew, Eve and Mark weren't dating yet.
I think
right?
it was her.
She walked
walking
out
away
she
after.
Right, because Mark said, she said, is the only reason why you want to give me a chance is because of the future.
Yes.
The future her.
Yep.
And then he was like, honestly, maybe because he's stupid and fucking like honest when he should have just lied to her face.
Yeah. I mean, he meant that, like, that was probably his motivation, but he really did have feelings, but it was, yeah.
But that was a turning point.
Yeah. So she's back in Africa. Mark is there. He wanted to talk to her, and she's not ready to talk. She doesn't want to talk about it. And Mark gets the call from Cecil and brings Eve along with him. They show up. They're above the ground. It's 3 miles underground instead, because Robot's still transmitting their location. Doc Seismic managed to get all the heroes trapped in these little cocoon things underground, and Immortal tries punching his way out, but Doc Seismic brings up the fact that if you try to break out, you may do it, but you're going to smush and kill the people that are trapped in there with you.
Right, because
he kind of like made it so that there's a weak, not a super strength person in there, in each tube, I guess, or in each cocoon.
it's because it gives, but it's very, very strong. So if you punch, it will squash the. It's stronger than the person that. Yeah, it's stronger than So who saves the motherfucking day?
Not Mark, but we'll get there. But Mark and Eve do show up.
Right.
I like how Zachariah turns to smoke.
They do it really quick. He turns to smoke. Wolfman just punches through for like a quick second
I love
before
how
it can
thick it looks too.
before it can regenerate. Zachariah kind of in smoke form seeps out.
Bill, what sound
gets him
is Doc Seismic's gloves making?
So he's hitting them together, and it's Batum!
And what sound does it make when Wolfman...
Splock!
Yep. So right now it's Wolfman,
I wouldn't
Zachariah.
think that his bracelets go Batum.
I feel like Splock,
I think it's more of a...
I feel like Splock would be.
Okay, like a.
I feel like Splock would
like an
be-
air cannon.
Splock is you have two bricks in a very wide open field, like in your backyard.
That's a
and how,
Splock?
like echoes.
That's more of a clack.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But, like,
absolutely
I feel
a
like
clack.
I can make.
This is
I
a little
feel
bit
like I
more
can
wet
see Splock.
sounding.
A Splock, SPL, is. I'm sorry, TJ, but it's wet. It's a spl.
It's two muddy, maybe muddy bricks.
Yeah, if you were to slap two muddy bricks together, do you think that they do this? They just like
What sounds?
go out into a field and hit a bunch of things
No,
together?
I think they just kind of wing it. I don't know. That'd be a good question for whoever does the action words. So it's Wolfman, Zachariah, Eve, and Mark fighting all these monsters. Eve immediately gets knocked out by this tongue thing.
Yeah, she does.
Wolfman catches her, and Zachariah gets immediately knocked out. Mark takes a huge beating and is all bloodied, broken. Does a really cool move where he pushes the two like
mandibles.
mandibles. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of a crazy fight.
Yeah. Pushes them through its own head. Takes a few steps towards Doc Seismic and passes out. And Doc Seismic yells, "I win!" Never liked that ending.
Yeah.
It always
But
like
I love Doc Seismic.
Yeah.
And you know what I hate about him is that we never really got to see like him
we thought we were going to see more of him in
more
his
of him
final
as his,
form.
I'll be honest. I was never a fan of him.
But I think that's
Never
why
liked Doc
I am a
Seismic.
fan of him is because
I like
he's
that
just,
he's kind of like this old era, like a bygone era villain. Like
Yes,
his
that's
enemies
him.
were, and I want to say even in this issue, at one point when he's talking, like giving one of his speeches, he brings up Chronodile and or he brings up the other the what do you call them? Not the Magnet Twins. What are they called in Capes? I once brought fear into the hearts of superheroes. They trembled beneath my power. The Meteor Twins, the Immortal, even Omni-Man knew that was a threat. The Meteor Twins.
Meteor Twins, and then didn't he absorb
the brother
or something like that, or
yeah, those were the two like original.
Right.
So he's one of those. So yeah, issue 49. I remember this is around the time when we were like seeing the covers to issue 50 and we knew the build-up was coming. So it starts with Cecil. Cecil says, goes to D.A. Sinclair, said he needs the Reaniman now. Then we see Doc Seismic rebagging the heroes up. He puts Mark and Eve in the same one. After yelling at Mark, saying that it's because of him, that he's the reason, and blah blah blah, typical villain stuff.
I think I would keep the Astonishing Wolfman in his little Ziploc bag, a little baggie.
What's that? You would keep?
Yeah, keep him in a little Ziploc bag.
Did he put Wolfman in one with another person? Do you see Wolfman in there with another person? Because that's the only way that
smart.
this...
He kept them separate, I think.
No, but that's the only way that it works.
Oh, you're right.
So you have to keep him with another person.
Oh, well, he's knocked out. I wonder if Zechariah is in mist form right now. I mean, it showed his body, so...
Britt would have been able to get out.
Britt is in there with Brittany.
Right,
which
so
is
if Brittany's who's super strong, if she were to be the one who punches it, Britt's the one on the other side that wouldn't be squashed.
That's wrong, though, because Britt's not super strong.
Or, I'm sorry, Brittany is super strong. Brittany's the one who
Donald's
would punch...
in there.
Oh, Donald's in there, he'd get crushed. Okay. All right, you thought of everything.
All right, Mark and Eve are in their little... I'm going to just keep calling them baggies. And...
little web.
Yeah. Eve says we got to break out and stop them, and Mark's like, no, we got to think this through. We need to get everybody freed at once, ignore the monsters, try not to take them on our own, and is immediately interrupted by Darkwing charging in through the shadows with an army of Reanimen.
Look at Invincible's face. I feel like in this issue around this time,
I like it. I really like his face
and I
here.
really like it. He looks like younger.
He's very young.
He does look younger. When Darkwing shoots the batarangs into the cocoons and he's like, "What the? This is just confusing." His face does look very young. He looks like right
in a couple different places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, Darkwing's little batarangs blow up all the baggies, all the cocoons. Everybody jumps out and is freed. And really cool 2-page splash. Wolfman and everybody, Savage Dragon, just wrecking shop. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Super Patriot's in here.
Yeah, whoever that guy is.
Cool Brit. In the corner there.
Then Darkwing, actually Invincible approaches him and is about to attack him, and Darkwing pulls him into the Shadowverse and kind of comes back up with him over his shoulder, and he says, "Don't worry, Immortal, I got him." Like he's not going anywhere. He's Invincible standing behind him, and then just like kind of sucker punches him in the back and calls him a murderer, and everyone looks at Invincible like he's the one that's crazy. And then Invincible turns around, sees everybody looking at him, and he's like, "Why is everybody looking at me? Like this he's killed people."
He's like, "You had to have seen it on the news. Like he's a murderer."
It was nationwide news or national news.
Cecil shows up, tells him to stand down. Robot's defending Darkwing, saying, "I've known him before, but he's not a killer." And Cecil says, "We'll talk about this later to get out." So Mark leaves. Eve approaches him.
But
yeah, Eve's butt.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were saying butt.
Yep. Nope, it's butt shot.
That's a good one.
Mark's telling Eve that something isn't right. He made a mistake.
What do you think that he made a terrible mistake?
In
trusting Cecil.
That's what he was referring to.
He also recognizes the robots as Reanimen. And yeah, so I think he then goes to, he says he has to go ask some questions, whether or not he wants to know the answers. Shows up to the Pentagon and starts snapping on Cecil. And Cecil throws it in his face that he killed Angstrom Levy. And Mark was saying that that's completely different. I love this, though. Then D.A. Sinclair walks in saying, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in a meeting. And Mark's like, what the hell is he doing here?
Yeah, it's like everybody that,
Coming to fruition.
What's that?
It's coming to fruition. He's starting to see, like, who Cecil is.
Yeah.
Well, he's not starting to see. It's all this is the first time that he's seeing Cecil use a villain,
and he's seeing
like multiple.
He thought that
but it's immediately after he sees Cecil protecting somebody who's a known murderer.
Yeah, and he saw and he thought that it was bad enough that he was using D.A. Sinclair's technology.
Yeah.
He didn't think that he was actually employing him. So D.A. Sinclair, not D.A. Sinclair, Cecil brings him into the White Room, and Cecil just basically keeps kind of talking him down, putting it aside, kind of brushing it off, and he brings up the fact that don't you think it's worth the freedom, the lives that he might save? Like, this technology can replace soldiers in the field. Like, is that not worth one life? And Mark's like, what are we doing in the White Room? Why did you bring me here? And Cecil says, for the element of surprise.
Obviously. Why else would you be in the White Room?
And that's how issue 49 ends before the big issue 50.
This is such a good issue.
So,
and
issue
this
50's
cover is one of my favorite covers.
It is easily one of the best covers. Easily top 5.
And what's cool about it is it's not just it's simple because it's it pops and it's the White Room. You know what I mean? It has that meaning too. That not only is it just a cool not vignette or whatever, but it's the White Room, which is neat.
Mm-hmm. This is the first cover too, and the first moment in Invincible where it's really flipping on its head.
Mm-hmm.
This is Cecil Stedman.
other than the Omni-Man twist early on in the series,
right? But I mean, this is Cecil, who's been the good guy the entire time, and meanwhile
it's also
this cover comes out.
A gray area. This is introducing this guy was a hero and he's justifying himself and he's saying isn't this the right thing? And you got Mark standing his ground and
knowing nothing too, before you read issue 49, if you are on issue 48 and you see the cover to issue 50 because it's issue 50, so they had to have released it pretty early, you're like, oh shit, this is a brutal cover. It looks like Invincible goes evil.
It does look very menacing
because he has a very emotionless look on his face.
Yep.
It doesn't look like he's.
And Cecil looks like the victim. He's crying. He's all bloody.
There was the first take on this cover that Ottley did. Cecil had both his knees down, and Kirkman wanted to change it because it looked like he was kneeling before him, kind of on his knees, falling. Begging and not falling down and grabbing on. It looked like he was begging almost.
Right.
So yeah, interesting. So issue 50, Mark says, or Cecil says that, you're a loose cannon. I didn't want to end up like Angstrom Levy. Mark snaps and he's just attacking all of them.
That's a point that he made in issue 49 too, saying that what makes D.A. Sinclair different than Angstrom Levy? You killed Angstrom Levy, or so he thought. Mm-hmm. And he says that was different. He was attacking my mother. He was going to kill my mother and my brother, and that's why I killed him. And then I again how he brought up in issue 50 later on, even after they had that conversation, I don't want to end up like Angstrom Levy, which tells me that he's not just using that as an excuse. He actually kind of is scared of Invincible.
Oh yeah,
he absolutely is. He's not a dumb person. I mean, he knows that he's a Viltrumite. He knows that he has that rage. Mm-hmm. Same thing with his father. He's always been worried about that.
And he says to him I protect the world, and you're trying to stop me. That makes you my enemy. So yeah. I like how after a little while the White Room subterfuge failure begins to happen. So it counts down 3, 2, 1, and Mark's like, "Is that it? Is that all the robots you got? You think I'd just give up and step back in line?" And then the lights turn off or on or however you want to call it, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of these Reanimen, and
which really stand no real threat to Mark. Maybe now they do, but
maybe
because we weren't really. I mean, he gets his ass handed to him.
I mean, he says when he first starts fighting him, like, I've been working out. Like,
Right.
this, I can handle these people. I've been working out. And then the lights go on, and he's like, oh, shit. He's not the strong Invincible that we know, later on in the series yet. He's not there yet. This is definitely a major threat to him. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they go on to say, too, he's like, even if it wasn't a major threat, he's like, Cecil says, we can be here all day, which probably they would be because Invincible would put up a really good fight. He's like, we could be here all day, or you can just surrender. And he's like, obviously that's not Invincible.
Yeah, and they talk some more, and Mark says he's not gonna stop, and he's just gonna keep fighting, and he's gonna keep destroying these robots. And Cecil says, "I think you've cost the American taxpayers enough money. I have a more efficient way of keeping you in check." Reaches into his pocket, and then pulls out the button. And this is when the White Room starts being restored. Mark,
this is the best part of this fucking issue.
This was such a shock. Like, at first, you see this cover and you're like, "Oh shit, they're good." I mean, how does Cecil stand a chance?
Right. And now it's how the fuck does Mark?
Yeah.
So
another favorite part of the comic.
So the communicator he says the communicator that we embedded in your ear that he's been using this entire time.
Dude,
they also used it as a security feature.
Yeah, after the fight with his dad,
right?
They brought him back and put it back in there. Right.
So it's pretty much a defense mechanism that goes off to fuck up Mark's equilibrium, which is his weak. And they're like, "Oh, looks like we found your weakness."
Mark's like, "You put a weapon in me," and then he shouts it again. That's so cool. And he's like, "Mark, you need to calm down. And if you get the urge to crush my hand, it will go off on a loop, and it could kill you."
That's smart.
So
crazy.
It's these little things that are awesome. Yeah, the bottom panel. So after they're having this conversation, Mark is down, and he says, "What do you think the range is on that thing?" And then Cecil says, "Range, what do you?" And then whoosh, Mark is gone. Like, he's trying to get out of the range.
Such a good use of the same artwork, same panel. Just make him disappear. Mark flying out.
He catches them just outside of the Pentagon. He crashes into a car.
And I love the writing right here. Like, because Cecil walks up to him as he's like on this smashed car, and Cecil's like, he comes to his teleporter. He's like, "We had theorized that." Are you awake? Good. "We had theorized that your equilibrium." Like, that's so good. That's so cool. It's gonna mess with his flying, the equilibrium and stuff like that. And then Mark mumbles something or whatever, and then he says, "Oh, and to answer your question, the range isn't anything great, but it's enough." And Mark says, "Last time the Pentagon slowed me down," and takes off again.
And now we get the best part of the comic.
This is the best part. Yeah,
this whole
fucking
of him going through all these different cities and towns, and he sees him flying through, but Cecil keeps using his teleporter, and he's in like what looks like New York City or like Seattle.
He's going from
like,
Baltimore. That's Baltimore. He's probably let's see. The Pentagon is in D.C. He's going basically from like East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah.
You see like the coast, and then you see the plains, and then you see the mountains, and you see like Utah.
Full vertical panels of him in different areas, just peeking through the portal and saying crap, crap, crap. Like, he's not here, he's not here. And then at the very above this whole panel is Invincible flying across all these places. And then in the very last panel, Cecil looks up and he goes, and hits the button.
And Mark falls and crash lands into the Utah base of the Guardians of the Globe.
And I always think, too, like, that the first time he ever used the teleporter, he said that it cost the taxpayers like $1 billion.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. That's like $7 billion right there.
Mm-hmm. Robot and Monster Girl are playing Mario Galaxy, a game that Robert Kirkman admitted to being like addicted to.
He loved it at the time.
Mark crashes in there. Everybody's like, "What happened? What happened?" Mark's saying,
"I love this scene. This is such a good scene because you expect something completely
feel for everybody too."
Yeah, everyone's finding out, And
I think everybody acts appropriately. Like, they all act so well. Mark says, "I didn't know where else to go, Robot. I need your help. Get this thing out of my ears before he catches up. He'll be here any minute. It feels like a bomb going off in my head." And they're all like, "Who's after you? Who's after you?" And Cecil teleports in, and Rex is like, "Cecil, you gotta help. Someone's chasing Invincible. They got something in his head. They're trying to kill him." And Cecil's like, "I know." And he's like, "To anyone who values their position, stay out of this." It's so good. Mark's like, "It's him. He's the one doing this." So yeah. Mark gets a chance to explain that, who Darkwing was, who D.A. Sinclair is, and and even Bulletproof is like, I thought those things looked familiar. And they asked, like, Cecil, are you telling the truth?
And then Rexplode goes, this is not what we signed up for. And then immediately Cecil gets pissed off and he goes,
he's getting
damn
frustrated
it,
'cause he's
Invincible,
doing
you're ruining everything.
Yes.
Like, and then he hits him again.
He says
with
you're
the-
spreading like a virus. Yeah.
I like how in the bottom panel,
We'll sort this out after you've all been restrained.
right, attack, and then Rexplode says, "Well, it's on now," and everybody's in their combat poses, and fucking little Rex robot is just touching his forehead,
Yeah.
like showing
Like
that he's
concentrating.
concentrating, controlling.
That's kind of that, like,
Xavier.
Professor
Yeah.
X. So yeah, we got some badass
Rexplode. Here you go,
Rexplode.
TJ.
Yeah. Shoving one of his boomsticks into the mouth of one of the Reanimen. Jumping over with his legs out. He's a beast, man.
Very
He's a
Spider-Man.
fucking beast. Jumping in the air and throwing his boomsticks.
Like Cecil's like, what are you doing? You don't understand. He
Knocking the.
he blows up the device, and Mark
Takes
goes
the device out of his
nuts.
hand. Yeah.
So it's going off on a loop. Robot instantly gets what's happening. And Rex is like, sorry. And Bulletproof's yelling, like, call him off, Cecil. You're killing him. And then we have that moment from Cecil. Dear God, what have I done?
And now.
This scene. So Cecil cuts out, teleports back, and tells D.A. Sinclair to shut them all down. And D.A. Sinclair says it's going to take a few minutes. Which, what is he working on? I never caught that.
That's a female. Hey. Who is he working on?
It doesn't
It's
look familiar.
obviously it's someone in camo. They have it's a girl because she has breasts and we see her butt crack.
But yeah, she's wearing like some kind of camo
like
tank top and
camouflage and,
camo
like,
sleeves.
gauntlets, yeah.
Like gauntlets, yeah.
Huh. You should note this and
Yeah,
see
I don't
if
think-
this was.
Yeah, it might have just been like my guess, since we never saw it again. My guess it was just Kirkman telling Ottley like D.A. Sinclair's working on
Something.
a body part,
Right.
like on something, and he's just making it crazy looking. Cecil comes back, and I always remember this panel of Mark just flying, cutting all of them in half, completely bloodied. Mask is completely gone. His costume's barely hanging on. And this was cool. Robot figured out the frequency to block the transmission, so it's not going off in his head, which is a very interesting thing, to read about now, knowing where Robot will be later in the series using similar frequencies against Mark.
Right.
So this I thought was a little weird, though. So Cecil has kind of revealed himself as a villain. Now, I know that there's...
It's the gray
It can
area,
be debated.
yeah.
It can be debated. However, in this moment, everybody in this room is seeing Cecil as a villain. Cecil was defeated, and then he kind of like backtracks like a little bitch and was like, well, we can't continue, Invincible. You're fired. We'll never work together
Yeah.
again.
He gives everybody else another
Invincible's
chance.
like, fine, it is what it is. Why the fuck wouldn't they arrest him like right there? I know that he is like the fucking Pentagon, but like restrain him or like put him
Who,
somewhere.
Cecil?
Like, yeah, like
Because
it's
because
a
it's,
gray-
it-
it's a
they
gray
let it
again,
go.
it's the same thing. Like Cecil
not a
does
gray area.
Cecil does so much though. Like he is protecting the world. You know what I mean? Like
But he's revealed himself as okay. But if they let him go because he does so much for the world, but he's a villain, then he is exactly what he hates about him, Cecil. Because that's what Cecil does, and that's why he's a villain. You know what I mean? Like, why did they let him go?
I don't know.
Look at the look on your face. You know I'm right.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about it.
It's
But
to me though, it's one of those things where like Rex and all of them were just trying to stop these things and help Invincible. All of a sudden, your boss is like, "All right, fine, I'm out of here." I don't know if their instinct would just be just to arrest him. Like, what are they gonna do?
They just let
put him in a
go,
holding
like,
cell and
they
do they have
allow
to?
him to build up villains.
I don't know. It's interesting though. I do like Cecil telling him, "You're fired. You ever get my way again, I'll let them kill you." Mark says fine, and then Cecil goes to walk away, and Mark says Cecil and flies at him, holds him up against the wall, and threatens him,
So
saying
badass.
that if you ever and mess with my life again, if you ever come to you stay away from my family. I don't want you talking to my mother. Don't come to my house. Stay away from Oliver. If you try to recruit my little brother, I will kill you.
He says that everything that you've ever paid me, everything you've ever given to me is mine.
mine.
It belongs to me and my family. Don't ever come near us again.
And I love that Cecil's down on the floor coughing. Mark's walking away. Robot, get this damn thing out of my ear. It's so the writing in this issue is so good. The issue ends with Mark going home, telling Cecil everything's fine, and they sit down with Debbie and they explain everything. Eve's outside. They bring up the fact that Debbie's pissed off. Mark mentions that everybody's quitting. Robot, Monster Girl, and Rex for sure. Bulletproof will. But Shapesmith, Immortal, and Duplicate are going to stick with Cecil. So, yeah. Oh, and Black Samson.
More importantly, this is when they start to talk about Mark when he thought he was going to die.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing that flashed in his head and what he was thinking about was Eve.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that we didn't bring up in the beginning, too, which we kind of mulled over. But, Invincible originally went to Africa to find Eve to talk about, their conversation that they had last, and he didn't really see her that way. And then, but Eve didn't want to talk about it. And then it got put on the back burner because of all the shit that happened with Cecil and Doc Seismic. And then this came full circle when they finally get to talk about it. And then he reveals that I almost died and I realized that I'm in love with you. And now they're together.
Mm-hmm. So they kiss and they say, you and me. And Oliver's in the window and says, gross.
Awesome, Oliver.
And the back of this issue had the secret origin of Cecil Stedman. And it has Britt showing up to save Cecil, who is tied up to a toxic bomb.
And this was years and years and years ago.
Oh, yeah. Cecil looks noticeably younger. He doesn't have a scar. And they're called like the Order of the Flying Fist or whatever. So these bad guys set off this bomb and it starts to melt their flesh and melts all.
It's like a toxic gas.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they actually had a name to it.
Chemical X.
Yeah, that's it.
And it goes off. Britt manages to save Cecil, but his whole body is completely scarred and his skin's gone. And those two villains die, in quotes. And then we see Britt show up, and after Cecil's fully healed, except he still has the patch above his mouth. And Cecil explains that he wanted that to be left that way as a reminder that he messed up and he got people killed and he won't let it happen again. So years later, when Cecil's trying to get the director Radcliffe, out of the Pentagon, there's an attack from the Lizard League, and they are saved by the Order of the Freeing Fist, and Cecil's shocked that they're still alive. And we find out that Director Radcliffe faked their death in order to use them because they're better used alive. You notice a theme here. Also, it's interesting to point out Director Radcliffe has a gash above his left eye. And so after those former villains save them, Cecil shoots them both.
Yeah, it says, well, let me find a way to thank them.
Mm-hmm. Just as the OG Guardians of the Globe show up, the cool throwback to them. It's neat seeing all of them, especially Black Samson, someone who you normally don't see with that group because he had lost his powers. And they're like, Cecil, old friend, what have you done? And then months later, Cecil has a beard, and Director Radcliffe, now looking noticeably different with a big
With
scar,
the scar on his face,
which is the same scar. I mean, this is how he looks in the Invincible Presents.
Explode.
Yep, because Radcliffe is saying, I need you to take my job. I've got something, where does it say? He says, I have something... I need to step down, distance my project and myself from the agency. His project is Rex. So this is issue 50. The Invincible Presents Rexplode and Adam Eve came out shortly after issue 60, I want to say. It was around that realm. So this was Kirkman obviously setting up these characters and everything. So yeah, and then years later, or 1 year later, Cecil is there in command and is witnessing the arrival of Nolan. He goes down to the beach to meet him. Nolan asks if he's in charge of, Earth's defenses. They talk for a little bit, and Cecil basically offers him a job. And after having a meeting with him at the Pentagon, and then an aide comes in to Cecil and says, yeah, he's lying, by the way. He's definitely an alien, so it's technically inconclusive, but as far as the Viltrum and the Betterment Committee and all that shows up as lies. So what are we going to do about this? And Cecil says, nothing. I'd make a deal with the devil himself if it meant the safety of this planet and the people on it. That's my job. That's what I do.
There's a flash of him fighting a monster. Mm-hmm. It's the same monster that he was fighting in issue 11.
So cool.
Huh.
Yeah, that's when he says he arrived, right?
Yeah, he was on Earth. It seems
Yeah.
that people were
This
always
is-
in some
yeah,
kind of danger.
shortly
Yep.
after he gets to Earth. He's still wearing his Viltrumite garb and everything.
I noticed things.
Good catch, TJ.
Wow. Or did you just go back to that scene to see if there was anything? Or were you like, that monster looks familiar?
I thought we had talked about it before. That's why I was like, did we talk? And we may have talked about it before,
Later.
but I was like, I'm going to go back and look. And
Well,
I
there's
did.
definitely, obviously the dragon he fights in issue 1, we
Yeah.
know to be Mr. Liu. or
Plus,
whatever.
I feel like every single time they do something like this, there's a flashback.
Flashbacks.
It's always to an older episode or
Something
something
we had
like,
to,
yeah,
yeah.
that we've seen before.
Yeah. Very cool. So, yeah, again, giving credence to Cecil's origin and his way of thinking and why he does the things he does. All right. Here is FCO. We've got issue 51. This is the Jim Lee cover. You have this issue.
I do have this issue, and I have it signed by Ryan Ottley and Jim Lee.
So cool. Did you get this one graded too?
I did.
Protected? Good.
Yeah, and I want to get it regraded because it's
better
ridiculous.
than what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
What did they grade it at?
an 8.5, and it's almost like I feel like it should at very least be a 9. Like if I had gotten a 9, I feel like I'd be like, but a fucking 8.5, I'm
Dude,
definitely
that was like
getting
me
it
with my
regraded.
one.
I'm definitely getting it regraded.
Yeah. Oh, no, mine's got some.
Yours
some,
is well loved.
Mine's a little well loved here. Oh yeah.
Oh, the corner.
There's this corner has like
yeah.
those look like teeth marks from a cat.
You,
This is definitely lower than an 8.5.
if you feel if that comic is well loved, then I feel sorry for your wife.
Oh
do
come
you,
on.
do you beat your wife?
Oh.
I think your wife is starting to suspect something. Oh no!
What lies beneath?
I feel like she's starting to suspect
Yeah.
something. Who?
Your wife.
That was actually a really good movie.
No, it wasn't.
It really was.
What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford and Michelle
I remember being
Pfeiffer?
good, but I was also young enough to not be allowed to watch that movie. So I feel like if I was watching that
Yeah,
movie, I'd be
again,
liking it because
I haven't
wasn't
seen this
allowed
one
to
either.
watch
Why are
it.
you guys watching like movies my mom watched in the 80s?
Yeah, dude. What Lies Beneath?
What Lies Beneath was like
No,
That'd have been
that,
late 90s.
that movie can't. No, no,
gotta
no,
be
no,
early
no.
90s.
No way.
No,
Really?
No,
We're-
it was
we're making it-
2000.
All right, TJ, you look it
okay.
up.
What?
Yeah,
give me a
2000
year,
and fucking 2 maybe.
I'm saying.
I'm saying
You
95.
might be right.
then.
2002.
You might be right.
Put it IMDb it.
I'm gonna say
Beneath.
you're saying 95.
I'll say 95.
Oh my God! What?
I don't know. I don't even know this movie. I'm just guessing.
98.
51. It starts with Mark and Oliver flying.
2000. Me and you were.
So yeah,
2000.
Yeah, in between each other.
And Mark is basically training Oliver, saying that he's going to teach him and telling him he's got to like push himself to, really, what? Push himself to
his full potential.
yeah, to expand his potential.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. The teen team
Expand
are
your
back
mind.
at the teen team base,
Mortal Kombat.
and they're all setting up and explaining what's going on. I love how they're talking about how they don't want to go by the teen team again. And Bulletproof's like, hell no. I barely remember being a teenager. Just being around you kids make me feel old enough as it is. This is my favorite page of Rexplode. There's crazier pages. There's like cool action pages and stuff like that. Other than crazy action pages, this is my favorite page of Rexplode. I don't know why. It's so cool.
Really?
I just love the way he looks in this panel. There's something about him. The way he's shrugging, it's just so him. He captured that so perfectly.
Yeah. When
And this whole scene
because he's talking to Eve
about Mark.
about Mark and how they'll be a
'Cause-
great couple. And
yeah.
he's like, congratulations.
It's
That's
kind
awesome.
of a redemption to like, why aren't you being a jerk? Or when did you stop being a jerk? And he shrugs.
He's like, hey,
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so good. It's so good seeing the two of them.
But there are so many good Rexplode pages.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the best one.
You do. You have two of the best ones.
What's the other one? I have his death.
You have him fighting, or no, well, the Powerplex fighting.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really cool one.
Powerplex, yeah, that was cool.
So yeah, we see Cecil talking with the remaining members, Duplicate in her awesome new costume, Shapesmith Immortal, Black Samson, and they welcome Darkwing to the team. Titan, hey. Hey, we haven't seen him since he took over
Machine
The
Head.
Biz.
Machine Head. And Mr. Isotope is saying that Mr. Lee is still wanting you to get his agent Multipole out of prison. We know Multipole is in prison from the fight with Invincible
Rexplode and
Rexplode.
Invincible.
Yep.
It's a good issue.
Yeah, it was. And later on at the tailor shop, which is where Mark said he was taking Oliver, Oliver gets a new costume. He says he loves it. They talk about how his name is Kid Omni-Man. And they're like, you sure not Omni Boy? Like, nope, Kid Omni-Man.
And he actually tells Cecil, or not Cecil,
Art.
to leave the room because he needs to talk to him. And he says, Oliver, you can't have the name Omni-Man in your name.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? He's my father. I want to honor him.
God,
and he's
this
like,
whole arc is so cool.
He's like, because people on Earth hate him. Like, they hated him. And he's like, that's why I want this
Yeah.
to
help redeem his
I'm gonna
name.
help people, and people are gonna look at him in a different light.
He's
and
good,
He's like,
and
you
I
gotta
know it.
understand. Like, I remember everything, and he may have been a bad person on Earth, but I remember him back on my planet and all the good that he did for us and my people.
And the reveal.
And then,
Next page.
Art brings him a new costume, too. It's the black and blue. And he says that, you know, it'll match better with Oliver's. Mark saying, no fingerless gloves, no knee pads.
And Art is like, why would I ever even give you knee pads? Like, you're invincible. Like, you're invulnerable.
I love this. He says, you're kidding, right? Those gloves? Oh, because he's like, no fingerless gloves, no knee pads. He's like, I kind of like the yellow. And Art says, you're kidding, right? Those gloves were right out of the 80s movies. You're indestructible. Why did I ever give you knee pads in the first place? Frankly, your old Kiss costume annoyed me. This is much better. You'll learn to love it. Trust me.
And I kind of feel like that whole panel was Kirkman to the reader. Like, listen, he doesn't need knee pads. The fingerless gloves are dated. Like, you're going to learn to love it. Just give it some time.
But it was too late. Like, I mean, the yellow and blue is so, like,
it's too iconic, yeah.
It's too iconic.
Did you like this at first? This costume at first when we saw it?
I liked it, but I remember talking about it too.
Really?
Because we were, I said that I liked it, and I agree. I said that I liked it, but I didn't want it to be permanent.
Yeah.
I felt it didn't feel permanent to me. It felt out of place. It didn't feel like it didn't feel like this is where it was going to end.
I thought that it was permanent, especially when he started, like, at first I was like, I hope it's not permanent, but then, like, issue after issue, when it gets into Conquest, I was like, oh, it's permanent.
Yeah.
He's not going back, and then he did. Spoilers.
I don't think I remember ever thinking it was going to be permanent. I always, like, anytime a hero changes out of their iconic costume, I always look forward to when they return to it. And I don't know if I thought this at the time, but this was very clearly the Black Suit Spider-Man era.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
It was his
and
take
I wonder
on Black
if
Suit Spider-Man.
And I wonder how long it took us to realize that was happening. Did we think that right away, or was it after a couple issues?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
think
like
it might
had
be.
to have said.
It might be next volume.
Yeah.
All right. Then later on in this issue, we've got Furnace and Kursk attacking the prison. They were sent there to try and get Multipole out. Great dialogue here with Kursk speaking Russian and Furnace not knowing what he's saying. And Mark and Oliver show up to stop them. Mark defeats them. Oliver got knocked aside. He's worried about it, but he's fine. Mark yells at him, saying, "You don't ever just fly in there like that again. You have to listen to me if I'm going to train you." And poor Furnace. His costume keeps getting destroyed, and he always talks about how expensive it is to repair. Meanwhile, the Mauler twins attack the very same base that the Lizard League attack. There's even still the damage on the wall, and the guy's talking about how they haven't finished repairing it. The Mauler twins destroy it. We'll see more of them soon. Then Oliver and Mark come back home, and they show up to Debbie straddling Paul.
Guy.
His name Paul, right? She brought it up to Mark last volume, saying that she started seeing someone, and she wanted to get Mark's blessing.
We've seen him before? They were at dinner together.
Yes,
They've
were
gone
at
on
dinner.
dates. Yeah, they've gone on dates.
Yeah, like I said, Debbie talked to him once, and then she talked to him. They bring up the news is on. Mark's identity is blown, and on the news they call Mark Invincible, and Oliver's super excited that they're on TV. Mark is outside sitting on the roof. Eve comes and flies to sit down, talks about the costume. He hates the name Invincible. They kiss, and there's an orb watching them. And now issue 51 was kind of marketed as a new kind of jumping on point, a fresh start, like kind of back to basics, introduction of some characters. And then you get to the end, and it's Angstrom Levy. Young Love, how interesting. Man, one of the best villains coming back in such a cool way. Now, how long had it been, TJ? He died in issue 33?
33.
33 to 51.
Yeah.
All right.
17 issues.
Is 52 the last issue in this
Almost
volume?
2 years.
There was a lot.
I think it's 52 and 53. Yeah, we got 2 more issues. I remember seeing this cover, and this is when we were like, oh, Oliver's going bad. You know what I mean? Between this cover and what he does in this issue. So the issue starts with...
You're so fucking naive to, like, covers.
Oh, I know.
But, I mean, that's very fucking
Well, they
deceitful.
literally are fighting.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the point. I mean, they do fight in this. It's a mental battle.
Right.
In this issue starts with Mark taking off to
Missile silo.
To the missile
that
silo.
Maulers has taken over.
very cool 2-page spread.
FCO fucking... Oh, my God,
Which
dude.
this 2-page spread was in the New York Times. It's in the letters column, or not the letters column, but the sketchbook in the back. Kirkman talks about it, how there was an issue where of the New York Times, like print newspaper, where they announced Robert Kirkman becoming partner at Image Comics or whatever, and they used this artwork as on the page. It was just pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then a couple months later, or around that time, was also that article in the New York Times about the motion comic. So anyways, the Mauler twins have taken over. You see the bodies of the stunned Guardians of the Globe kind of laying knocked out. But then Mark shows up. The Mauler twins have this crazy gun that's stunning them. Oliver finds out that Mark is there, immediately goes after to help. And when he shows up, Mark is yelling at him. He's saying, "You're not ready for this. Get out of here. Go." The Mauler twins continue to beat him up, and they launch the missile. So their plan was to take out, was not to use, because the person that was there was comparing them to the Lizard League, and the Mauler twins were offended because they're so much smarter than the Lizard League. Their plan was just to knock out communication in the satellite communication, and that they would privatize communication, bring them back online, and that's how they would control everything, because they'd control communications.
So the missile takes off, and so does Invincible, and he yells down
Cool scene.
Yeah, he says, "Get out of here! You have to get out of here now. Just run. You can't take them by yourself." And then he takes off, and Kid Omni-Man just continues to fight. He gets launched across the room by one of the Mauler twins, and goes right through one of the metal walls. And he steps out, and he's looking, pissed. And he says, "Now you're just asking for it." And he literally like flies right through. This is one of the craziest things that's happened in the entire series.
Yeah, we'd seen blood at this point. We'd seen brutal fighting with the issue on Thraxia. Like we've seen them holding their guts.
That was really gross.
Like,
yeah, when he was pulling he was pulling his pants up and holding
but
his
it was
intestines
like
in.
holding his intestines, and we've seen that stuff. Those are grown men like fighting and stuff like that.
This is a child.
This was like that stuff was shocking and like a ooh. This was like a holy shit. This was something different,
and it shows his power too. Like he's, you know,
I remember doing the
gore episode.
Yeah, well, not just that, but the new reader with Liz and Brittany, and this scene, like Liz loved it, and I want to say Brittany was like in shock from it. Like it was almost too much for her.
Look at Oliver's hand, like the intestines are wrapped around his middle finger. Like if you look closely, look at gosh,
golly,
and I don't think that it would be as effective if FCO didn't color it, because most colorers would have just, you know, one solid color or different tones. But FCO adds lighting.
Yeah,
like
it's the reflections.
Of light. Yeah, the reflections, the
bright. Thing it just looks wet. FCO's blood just looks so wet.
It looks
it's crazy. And even more so in the hardcover than the trade paperback here. Look at the difference. You know?
Oh yeah.
So the other Mauler is clearly like terrified, and he's like, I give up, you win, I surrender. And then Kid Omni-Man says, oh, you're gonna make it easy for me, huh? And punches him again, like brutal picture.
Through his bottom, he punches his bottom jaw through the top of his head.
Through the top of his head, and his eyeballs like
you see the
goes
teeth
through the top of his head. Yeah, brutal.
Oh, and then
and the noise of it, there was blood spurting, and it's squip.
Yep, squip.
And then he looks back and sees him, the Immortal, kind of like giving him a look, and he's like, "What? It was an accident, I swear," which it clearly wasn't.
Yep. Then we cut to Mark chasing after this missile in space, grabs onto it.
He says, "This is probably gonna hurt," and he grabs a hold of it, and it explodes.
Oh, no, he's doing this like epic thing out in space. Well, that's happening down below.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's cool how he shows the. It shows the moon. It shows the same people in the moon base that we saw a few issues ago.
Didn't want to be escorted by him because they know what Omni-Man did.
And they notify Cecil.
Yep. So the bloody Maulers are on the ground. The whole Guardians of the Globe show up. Cecil shows up, and he goes, "What? Like I was an accident. They were evil." And he's kind of like starting to show a remorse. And then Cecil kneels down and says, "You know."
They're just not used to seeing.
People aren't accustomed to seeing someone your age do things like that. It's understandable. You're very young. There will be times, and then Invincible shows up and grabs him and flies him into the air.
Like I warned you.
Throat. Stay away from Oliver. Mm-hmm. Stay away from my brother.
And he's like, I'm just here to calm down. I'm just here to clean up your brother's mess.
And then Invincible looks around and sees the Maulers dead on the ground and says, he says, "Sky now." What does that remind you of?
That is 100%.
Yeah.
And it's in the word. It's sky high.
It is sky high.
Dude, yeah.
Sanctum now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it after like the fight or the party or
it was it was after the party. Everybody else he was happy that he got home after getting into a fight with the fire guy, the bully, and then he takes the door off and he goes. The mother goes, "Anything interesting happened at school today?" And he goes, "I got my powers," and picks her up. And then he goes, "Yeah, I know your principal called. We heard you got into a fight." And then he goes, "Sanctum now," and then takes him to the sanctum and like is all happy that he got his powers. Moving on.
How cool is Darkwing like perched with his cape and everything?
I mean, that's
cool
how you have to sit
when you're Batman.
You just can't stand there. You have to.
He's pretty cool looking.
So Invincible takes him up into the air, and obviously they fight about, you can't just go around killing people. And
why?
Why? Why not? Why should I care? How many times have you fought these guys now?
No. TJ, you have to say you can't just go around killing people. Say it.
Oh, I know it. Hold on.
Say it. You can't just go around killing people. Why? Because you just can't, okay?
Oh,
yeah. It's
Terminator, yeah.
I knew that one.
You've never even seen that movie. Have you seen that movie, or did your mom own that so you couldn't see it?
No, that one wasn't.
Why are you watching like 80s movies?
Yeah.
Ryan? Why are you watching like 80s?
It's pretty much the same thing as Death Becomes Her. Oliver's saying how how many people have they killed since the first time you fought them? What you do is illogical. The logical thing to do would to stop these guys permanently. Mark saying human life is a precious thing. Oliver saying no, it's not. Yeah, Oliver just talks about how they're insignificant, and Mark says you sound like Dad. Oliver's so why is that a bad thing? Was he so wrong? Have you ever even thought that maybe our father was right? And Mark says sometimes, and that's how the issue ends. All right, last issue of Volume 10, which was titled "Who's the Boss?" By the way, this is the normal length.
7?
Six issues.
Normally 6, but there was an extra one in here.
Well, there's like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
Probably was never ending.
Yeah.
So we get
cover with Mark punching Titan. Mark and Eve are cooking s'mores on a mountain. She's talking about how it's nice to have this quiet moment together, and Mark is he's just off in his head because he's thinking about Oliver and everything that's going on. And she explains to him, like, I'm not like other girls. I'm Adam frickin' Eve. Like, we can, you don't have to run away. You don't have to lie about what's going on to me. We can just leave. I understand what's going on. So if you want to go, you can go. And that's why we're going to make this relationship work. So they leave, and Mark goes back and talks to Oliver a little more. Oliver's in their father's like study or his office, and
is he?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's in his room.
This used to be your dad's office.
Oh,
I mean the room.
But now it's
Jeffy's
Oliver's room. Yeah.
Is it Oliver's room?
Yeah, there's the bed. He's sitting on his bed.
You know this. Oh, he says, this room used to be Dad's office. I didn't make the connection that it is also Oliver's room. For some reason, I assumed it was still just the office, but there's a bed in there, so you're right.
They kind of go into the same conversation that they had, in the last issue, only a little more calm. But Oliver tells him straight out, he's like, look, like where I come from, the greater good and society as a whole are vastly more important than the individual.
And everybody's here is so selfish and self-centered that's disgusting. Mark's like, you were just a baby. And he's like, I have complete control. And Mark's like, just stop it. He's just like a robot. He's just like so logical sounding, and he's not. It's frustrating for him. So they
emotion.
Yeah, they just say, all right, we'll continue this later. Then Mark walks out and snaps at his mom because he gives her a hard time about telling Paul his secret identity, which I got the impression he made the connection based on them showing up in their costumes.
Yeah, but I think it was probably maybe he's referring to
the fact that he was just over at the time, or
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Eve shows up, and Mark's saying that he's saying that he snapped, and he's like, I wonder, is it just me? Am I just being too, am I causing all this tension? Is my temper? And this is when I feel like we started to like make this connection with the black suit,
right? And
like his anger, and they go see a movie. Later, Mark shows up at the college. This is because he quit.
He's done.
He's done.
So he's getting all his stuff, and actually, remind me.
William,
I'm terrible with his name. I always want to say Rick, but Rick is he's moving in. William reveals that he's moving in with Rick, so things are progressing there.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of when we stop really seeing William. We don't see a lot of William anymore. From now on, William is very much a distant character that we only see occasionally through various things.
Mouse just walked across the room.
Did you hear that? It's crazy.
It's weird.
And let's see. Mark is flying by patrolling. He hates having to patrol. And he goes to the Stronghold Penitentiary. Titan is there. Mark's saying, I know why you're here. I'm not going to let you. Titan says, if you so much as touch me, I'll bring you up on harassment charges. And Titan says, try me. And Mark slaps him across the face. And he's all bloody. And Mark's like, crap, sorry. I thought you were stronger, I
tried to hold back as much as I could.
Yeah, oh yeah, because he's gotten stronger since they fought last. And Titan rocks on.
Has he said that before?
I feel like he did last time.
Really?
It's clobbering time.
I feel like he said rock on last time. But their fight is interrupted by Mr.
Fang
Lu's dragon, who knocks Mark aside. Titan gets up and walks away, and he says, "Screw this." The dragon breaks out, multi-paw, and flies away with him. Later, at Titan's headquarters, you find that Mr. Lu explained to Titan that he failed him, and that if basically talking about the Order, which we know who the Order is, and Titan basically teleports Mr. Lu and his bodyguard and multi-paw away, or Isotope does. Titan tells Isotope to do it. And Mr. Lu turns back into the dragon and flies away, and that kind of starts a little bit of a turf war between them. So let's see.
I like this scene.
Mark and Eve.
Mark is flying, and he just notices, like, Eve.
Yeah.
Because he's going to his house. He's like, "Hey, I was on my way to your place," and she gets scared.
Yeah, she's
and she's like, "Thanks for the catch. Not used to people talking to me when I'm up here," which makes sense. I mean, could you imagine thinking you're completely alone and all of a sudden being like, "Hey, hey, what's up?"
So yeah.
And then Mark agrees to make time for her the next day because they haven't had much time.
Oh yeah, he promises that Cecil's not going to be calling me. I promise it's a real date from start to finish without any giant monsters interrupting. I'll make it special. Just give me tonight to clear this mess up. He says tomorrow we'll go to dinner. We'll go skiing. We'll go hiking, flying. We can go to the moon if you want. Whatever you want. No interruptions. All that is very important
For the next
issue.
Next episode. So Invincible gets back home and sees Kid Omni-Man kind of hovering outside his house. He says, "You're not supposed to go anywhere." He's like, "I know I'm grounded until you get over me being efficient." And then they start to argue more.
And Mark's like, just the way you say it, like the way you talk like that.
And then and then Kid Omni-Man kind of ends it and goes, "Listen, like, I have been thinking about it, and you're right." He says, "I was just trying to." He says, "I did that because I was angry. It was irrational and unproductive. The truth is, I have been thinking about that a lot lately, and I'm inclined to agree with you." And then he's like, Invincible says, "I'm glad to hear that," and they hug it out. But then Kid Omni-Man has this look on his face,
which
like
at the time
he's just doing it to make the peace.
Yeah, at the time we got that. I think it's more like, in retrospective, I think it's just more of a grimace. It's not him being like I don't agree. Yeah, I thought.
No, but I think
I'm gonna be evil.
Like it's
I don't think it's I'm going to be evil thing. I think it's him being like, I'm just trying. I still disagree, and I'm just trying to make the peace.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, because it clearly didn't turn into anything, so it is very much him just like frustrated. Like you're saying, it's him making the peace. But I remember at the time thinking of it as being like, oh shit, like he doesn't, like, he's still like kind of a bad person here.
Yeah.
So.
And there's also another orb watching
Yes.
them, which we now know is Angstrom Levy.
Yep.
So, and that's how the
Volume 10.
The volume ends.
I love this volume. This is very much like, I feel like the start of a new era for Invincible. Like, we have like that early on, like, origin, everything up to the fight with Omni-Man. But then there's that whole Africa and like all the like kind of side stuff, all those loose ends kind of coming together. The Sequid stuff and everything, the fight with Rexplode in the missile silo and all that, I feel like was one era. I really feel like this is the introduction of a new era with the blue and black suit and everything that's going to be coming up next. This next volume has two of my favorite issues of all time. Mm-hmm. Two of my favorite issues of all time. I cannot wait.
Mine too.
Yeah?
Is Nolan...
No.
My number 1 is 33. My number 2 is 60.
Your number 1 is 33?
Mm-hmm. That's Angstrom Levy.
Oh, yeah. And then 60. Is 60 in the next one, though?
Is it in the next one?
No, it ends right before.
Oh, does it?
Because it ends with Powerplex.
Powerplex, right.
And in there is the date, which I love. It's such a great volume. And that'll be volume 11 next month. Before we head out, any other stuff we want to talk about? Bill, you saw Godzilla.
I did. I saw King of the Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting... I had high hopes going into it.
High hopes.
Yeah, I did, because I liked the first one, and from what I was reading and getting is this one was very much more Godzilla in your face right off the bat. Not like he's a side, but it was a lot. It was the same.
Really?
Like, yeah,
I
it was
heard-
like
I heard-
Monarch is like, oh, and there's many
It's
monsters.
weird because
and blah,
Godzilla
blah.
got like double the score on
The
Rotten
first one did.
Tomatoes.
Did it?
Yeah, it
really?
got like a 70 something, and this got like a 30.
I remember being bothered by most of the humans in the first one, and I heard
Well,
this
my-
one was a lot less human.
My biggest
No.
problem in the first
No?
one was that Godzilla was somehow like always
Everywhere.
where the main character
Yes.
was.
Yeah, that really
And
bothered me too.
he didn't even know the main character would just always showed up.
Yeah.
Well,
And it would started like in Japan and then went to San Francisco and then went to
It was
DC.
like, it just so
I guess,
happened.
like,
yeah.
I guess what bothered me the most about it is that, like, comparing it to the first one was, it was like that Game of Thrones episode where she was burning King's Landing,
Okay.
but it was from the perspective of the people.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, and that's more impactful.
Spoilers.
So whatever. So Godzilla, the first movie, it was the perspective of the people, like the people down here, and they're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
fuck, they see Godzilla walk by and roar, and it's
Yeah.
fucking epic. This one was very much like just helicopter pan view of
Was it
monsters
just-
fighting. Yeah.
That happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like sex.
Well, it was very rough.
and
Well, it's
remember-
like action figures.
Remember in the first one when like Godzilla was fighting the one Muto and he opened his mouth and fucking blew
Yes,
fire down its
yes.
head and shit? That was badass, right? Like that's a moment that you remember from that movie.
Yeah.
This did not have any cool moments like that at all.
Really?
It was just Godzilla
Even
getting
the
his.
trailer, like him running at the multi-headed one and like grabbing
That's
him.
all it is. He just grabs them and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna bite you. Oh, I'm gonna bite you. Oh, I'm gonna bite you 3 times because I got 3 heads."
So everything cool was in the trailer.
Literally everything was cool was in the trailer.
That's
But
a
I
bummer.
could just be feeling a little mad about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I saw it with Riker. I went to go take him, and
Yeah.
then we watched Kong Skull Island, which is fucking watch it again, dude. It's
I will
it's
watch it again.
really
I wanna
really
watch it
good.
again. We've talked about it a couple times, but we saw Aladdin. I liked it. You guys were meh.
Yeah, I still feel the same way about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I never have to see it again. I don't think that I'm a fan of these like classic Disney movie remakes
I
anymore.
didn't think
Do
they're,
you
I don't
have,
think they're all
um,
bad.
I hated Beauty and the Beast. I fucking hated it.
I
Where
didn't
are your
hate it.
expectations for Lion King then?
Really fucking high.
Oh, they shouldn't be based on how you feel about these.
No. And here's why: because Jon Favreau
Jon
did
Favreau is nuts.
Jungle Book.
which was fucking amazing.
Jungle Book
okay.
was the best one
Okay.
so far.
Jungle Book, but Jungle Book wasn't like good for a Disney remake. It was a fucking good movie. It was really really good.
Yeah. Whereas Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, I agree, feel
Were very
like
remake.
adaptations.
Yeah, just
they feel like
adaptations.
this is one for
I
one.
wasn't
but-
even thinking old Jungle Book when I was watching.
That's a good
the
point.
movie. It was
You're
just a
right.
very well done, well thought out, and I think that Jon Favreau has a great vision. From what I understand, that
Oh my
he
God.
filmed it in VR.
Did,
Like he
Chef,
had a.
did the Chef TV show come out?
Yeah, I saw.
I think it was like this week.
I
That's
fucking
exciting.
hope- yeah.
What?
Me and Liz are making the pasta this week,
Nice.
so if you guys
Let me
want to
know.
come over, yeah.
Let us know. We'll watch Death Becomes Her.
The what was I gonna say? Oh, X-Men. We're probably gonna see X-Men this weekend, and I hear it is terrible.
So
I hear it is so
what's
bad.
fun- it's got a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
I looked it up.
Everyone
because
is saying
it's
I
been,
didn't think it could get worse.
It's been all
it's
over
worse.
TV. So I looked it up, and the last time that Phoenix was in a movie was X-Men Last Stand, X-Men 3, and it got more than double that score. It
Yeah.
got a 57, and that movie was not great.
The Last Stand
The Last
The Last
was
Stand.
Stand is-
fucking
No.
terrible.
Dude,
yeah, and I got a
people are saying
57.
this is worse.
Okay, do you want to know something fucked up? Would you agree that The Last Stand was fucking terrible?
Yes, but it was
Okay.
a ton of fun when we saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
Opening night.
Okay, it was a ton of fun because Beast, when he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, you know what I'm trying to say," and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Ah!"
It was
Kelsey
it was a
Grammer.
funny experience, but
Okay.
it is not a good movie.
Did you know that the fucking person who wrote that movie directed Dark Phoenix?
No.
Swear to God. Yeah, because Fox owned him, right? Fox
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, he did a really great job of fucking,
Oh,
turning
man.
X-Men Last Stand. Let's have him direct this time."
So, like, honestly, the only reason why I'm seeing this, like, opening weekend, I feel like it's a Band-Aid. I want to get it over with because it's the final one. We've come this far. It's all still supposed to be in universe with the original X-Men movie. I loved the X-Men growing up. I feel like I just got to get it over with and see it and just be like, all right,
You
it's
got New
it's
Mutants
done.
coming too.
Wait, this is
True, maybe.
Did
I
you
mean,
just say
it's
this
so
is
weird.
with the original X-Men movie, like
This is
X1?
well, I'm saying like this is
It's
in
in that
universe.
universe, yeah.
That's impossible.
No, it all carried together.
Really?
Days of Futures Past explained all of that and connected both of them.
Yeah, like Days of Future Past explain that these are all the same universe.
Days of Futures Past literally
It's a different
had,
timeline.
Like,
it is a different timeline.
Right,
The
because how
old
could you
cast
have Dark
and the new
Phoenix
cast.
and then Dark
No,
Phoenix?
It's
like...
a different timeline.
Okay.
Yeah, merged off of the main one. Yeah,
They
it's
took
all Fox.
they took an
It's
Infinity
the
Stone
Fox
out of
effect,
it,
yeah.
and then okay, yeah.
Anyways,
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
have
see it
hi-
if it's bad. Why would I fucking pay to go? I still have not seen Apocalypse.
it's almost like you going to see
I
a
love
bad
Hellboy.
Batman
I love
movie.
Hellboy.
No, a bad Batman movie. Like if Justice League's getting terrible reviews, you gotta
Why
see
won't they do a Batman Beyond movie?
it. You're so
Why don't they do it? We've seen fucking Batman done a
E3 is
million
this week.
times.
Rocksteady is not going to be there, they said, which sucks. But there's rumor that WB Montreal might be working on a game. There's that rumor
more
that
and more rumors coming about
there's
them doing a
the-
Batman game.
the Court of Owls game.
Yeah.
That's kind of the rumor.
That's it. I think it's gonna happen.
We'll
I think
see.
we're gonna get that at E3. I agree with. What's
Speaking
his
of
name?
video games, Bill, you finished
Barrett.
Days Gone.
I have not finished Days Gone.
I thought you did.
It is a long ass motherfucking game,
Oh,
dude.
shit.
The
It's
map,
like me and Assassin's Creed. I'm just never gonna
dude. The
beat
map
this
just
game.
expanded. Like I was expecting it to
Jeez.
end, and the map expanded, and then the game started over. I'm like, holy shit! I'm still really enjoying it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does not deserve a 6.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. I am officially 100% caught up on The Walking Dead.
Should we spoil it? Let's
No.
talk spoilers.
No, we're not talking spoilers for Walking Dead. I think you both need to go
I
back
already
50
know about it.
issues.
I
I
already
think you
know
guys
about it.
need to go back 50 issues, regardless of what you know, and just read it. I feel like we owe it to ourselves as fans of Kirkman and of fans of The Walking Dead and where it was. I went back and I read a good 20 issues, all back to back. And while I was reading them, I'm like, man, these would be rough month to month. Reading them back to back, it was good.
Yeah.
Walking Dead is always good.
I have never,
back to back like
I
that.
have never given up on Walking
Yeah.
Dead. This is how I've read.
TJ, now is the time.
This
Like,
is how
right
I've read
now.
Walking Dead since issue like 110.
Yeah.
I read them. I don't read them for like a year, and then I catch up, and then I don't
Yeah.
read it for a year, and then I catch up.
Yeah. I assumed certain spoilers, but I didn't see them. Read the issue when it came out this Wednesday, and it's still... It might not be what you expect. It might be, but it's still worth... You got to read it. You got to read it before things get out there and everything like that, and all the details get ruined for you. Just go and read it. Get caught up. It's definitely worth reading. It definitely is something that is for... I feel like reading the issue, it felt like it was written for us. Like, Bill. Like, I was reading it, so I'm like, fuck, Bill. Like, you need to experience the last, 3 issues that were written, up to this point. It's
I
really
honestly
cool.
do not even remember where the fuck I left off.
I think you need to start with All Out War or something, and just go
Yeah,
and
with,
start with that
the war
Ne-
between Negan and them, yeah.
Because at that point, any characters that are in that
no,
you
I
might
remember. I remember the Whisperers.
that was
I read
before
all of that.
Oh,
That
no,
was after.
You know,
All
yeah,
Out War was like the start.
yeah. You know what? The Whispers with the heads
with
and everything.
Ezekiel. Yeah, that's
right
the
there
last
is-
thing I.
Right there, start from then on, and that's
Okay.
only 30 some issues. You can do that.
Yeah.
I read 20 some issues in 3 days.
Oh, I could.
Dude, it's
when
so
when Walking
easy.
Dead was in its heyday, I fucking read
So-
all the fucking trades. I read 4 trades in 2
So
days.
hopefully by next time we talk, but definitely before New York Comic Con, you have to be caught up.
Yeah, I'll buy the trades. I'll just buy the trades and all.
So other than that, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Chernobyl on HBO is very good. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet. I hear it's amazing. I also hear it's very depressing.
It's okay. Do you remember watching Black Hawk Down?
Yeah, we've talked about this. How
Okay.
you're saying it's
And-
constantly
no, but
stressful.
seriously, and how they're
what
like, why are
doing?
why stop making bad decisions? Stop
Yes,
making
yeah.
bad. It's just it's
Yeah.
dude, it's like that, but way worse because there will be a military person that has no idea about anything nuclear
And they're
or
making
radiation,
decisions.
and they're the one saying to a nuclear physicist, "You're not authorized to be here.
Yeah.
Get out of here." But and the one person's like, "Oh," and then the KGB will come and arrest them.
Yeah,
Are you fucking kidding me? It's great.
yeah.
I don't want to be that guy though that all I know about Chernobyl is based off of this TV show,
So you
this
feel like you
miniseries.
have to watch a
So I
documentary
feel like
or
I need to
something?
watch a documentary to know what actually
truth.
happened. But
Yeah.
the show, dude, within 4 days, firemen were there were just sunburnt from the radiation poisoning, and within 4 days they were puddles. They were literally decomposing men alive. They looked like zombies, dude. Within 4
Wow.
days, it was so fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of HBO, I loved Barry. TJ, where are you? Did you finish season
I
1?
literally just finished everything.
Caught up?
Yeah.
And
Okay, so for the next 2 minutes, we might be spoiling Barry. Otherwise, I think we're done talking about everything else. So thanks for listening. We're going to talk about Barry spoilers.
So stay after the credits and listen to Barry.
So, Barry, TJ, did you like it? Because I knew, like, when you were halfway through season 1, you weren't feeling it.
I don't get it.
No?
I don't.
Really?
I don't like. Okay.
It's like
but, I
Breaking
don't.
Bad.
But the love that you have for it, it just blows my mind. It blows me. Like, I want to know, who's your favorite character? Literally.
Barry.
Really? I hate this motherfucker. He's terrible.
I like
He's
Barry
fucking terrible.
and what's his face?
Fuchs?
No.
Oh, Harry.
Not Harry.
He makes
Hank.
like literally it is
Hank
so annoying where it's like and literally I was like, I think I'm starting to like Barry. Like, literally I thought this while an episode started, and by the end of that episode I was like, I fucking hate him. I hate him so much. And I bet that episode that I'm talking about is probably your favorite episode of the entire series.
It was my
one?
least favorite of the series.
I'm just guessing because I haven't talked to you about
The
it.
feral girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate him. Fucking kill her. Fucking, it's so annoying because, like, I get it, like, where it's like, oh, hey, Batty, we need you to kill a man. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that person anymore. Totally understand that. But when people are coming after him or threatening people that he loves and he's still refusing to do it, and he's like gushing out and like, dude, you need to catch her. You need to, like, at least subdue her. And he refuses to do anything. And he's literally just standing there and watches her walk out the window and he's still staring.
He was
He's
bleeding
so
out.
annoying. And every other supporting character are fucking terrible. Like, listen, I'm not gonna say it's all bad.
It sounds like you are.
The two finales were amazing. And I will say this, that one of them got the last episode got spoiled for me because I watched everything except for like the season finale of 1. That's where I was.
Yeah.
And I ended Barry, and then it went to live TV and an episode of Barry was playing.
Oh no.
But it was all scenes that I had seen before, but it was flashes and there was no music.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this must be a commercial or something. And then it showed the teacher get into bed. Still no music. It's totally silent. And then more flashes of him and his girlfriend. And I'm like, oh shit, she fucking dies. So I knew all the way through season, she died in the season finale of 1. But I was like, and I was like, literally, I pressed info because I was like, what the fuck episode? Is this Barry or is this commercial? So I pressed it, and it said season 2, episode 8. And I was like, it's the finale of the second season. Why is he going over this now? He finds out that it was Barry.
Yeah.
The whole season 2, I knew how it ended. But it was still very good.
Okay, so I can't believe that you didn't like it. And I can't believe
you love it. I can't believe it.
The moments that make me love the show are when he finally snaps, when him and his girlfriend are acting and he gets the scene, he fucking flips the table and chokes her, and he's like fucking in it, like that whole fucking episode.
One scene was great. Yeah.
No, and then also there's the one part where he was trying to channel that, and maybe it was the same episode where you actually see a flashback because it does not show him kill the cop. It doesn't show him. But then it fucking shows the scene.
I feel like the whole show is all about him struggling with that part of him, that darkness in him. And that's what the whole, like, the finale was, like, blatantly, like, beating you over the head. Like, this is a darkness inside him that he's trying to keep trapped, and it breaks out. I mean, that's everything that he went through in Afghanistan or wherever. And
I don't know. I do not know that if I were friends with Barry, if I would want to be alone with him. Like,
why? He's not gonna do shit to you.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god, dude! When he shot the cop, and then the look of terror on his face, and then all of a sudden he just turns it off, like a second later because he's fucked up from the war, dude.
Yeah.
There's so much depth.
I'll continue
everything
because
with fucking Harry.
I feel like I'm basically watching a story of complete morons, like everybody, and I want to find. I guess I don't know. Like, if it got canceled and season 3 never came out, I would not care.
I don't like. Is it Sally?
Oh, she's
Sally's
terrible.
girlfriend.
I don't
She's
like
annoying.
Sally that much, and I don't like
She's
Fuchs that
irritating.
much.
Yeah.
I
like Fuchs, but only because he's supposed to be like.
I get that, but
you're
it's gone too far for me.
The Russian guy drives me insane.
You're an idiot.
Oh my god.
Hank is the best.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode. It's episode 72 of the Invincible podcast. Jesus. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast.com. No, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. The outro for this week is by Wyatt Layne. It is called Spacewalk. Really funky, awesome song. We were listening to it a little bit before we started. You can find all of his music over on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. And I think that does it for us. I think next episode might do a character discussion. We haven't done a character discussion in a while, and it might be Monster Girl.
I think that's fair.
I'll announce it on Twitter.
There's just enough of Amanda to
to dive into.
Yeah.
So that does it. Thank you all for listening. Bye.
A farewell to you.
Bye.
Test. Oh. I'm gonna be talking right about here. This is my mic check. Test 1, 2, 3. TJ, talking to your mic. Will you be talking right about where?
Right about here.
Right about there.
I was waiting for my moment to talk. You were telling me to talk for quite a while.